Hey y'all, I'm Luna and I'm 23 years old. I gotta admit, life was pretty good until this crap almost destroyed my reputation. I went through hell this year, I'll tell you that. But I have to admit, I'm glad my mother-in-law Amelia got the payback she deserved in the end. Like I said, I'm Luna and I met my husband Isaiah back in college. We fell in love fast and hard, like the kind of love you read about in books or see in those sappy rom-coms. It was like a fairy tale. What made our love story even better was that Isaiah's family seemed to adore me. This was a nice change of pace from my own toxic family. My parents were always at each other's throats growing up, and the less I had to do with them, the better. So having Isaiah's family embrace me with open arms felt like a dream. But the one person who stood out the most was my mother-in-law, Amelia. She was a strong, independent woman who was also a police officer. Her rise through the ranks was really impressive, especially since she had to break through the male-dominated force. Homegirl was bursting through all types of glass ceilings. She managed to become a whole police captain, even well into her old age. She was determined and didn't let nothing or no one hold her back. Her ambition was something I deeply admired, considering I never had a good mother figure in my life. Amelia and I shared a close bond. She felt like the mother I'd always wanted but never had. We talked about everything from work to life to relationships. It was great having someone like her to lean on. She gave me advice, supported me through thick and thin, and even showed me the ropes of life in ways my own parents never could. It was incredible to see a woman like Amelia in action, both as a police captain and as a strong presence in our family. I admired her so much that it gave me the motivation to improve myself. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I had a family that genuinely cared for me. That's why I didn't see it coming. I never could have imagined that my perfect life would take such a dark and unexpected turn. But when it did, the fallout was nothing short of chaotic. The story that follows is painful, you all, but one I'm willing to share because sometimes revenge is so freaking sweet. About a year into my marriage to Isaiah, things started to feel a bit off. It was all because of how he reacted whenever I mentioned spending time with his mom. We were close, Amelia and I. We'd have our little shopping sprees, spa appointments, mani-pedi dates, and endless coffee catch-ups, all in the name of bonding. Whenever I returned from these trips and told my husband about how much fun I had with his mother, Isaiah's face shifted. He'd become distant, lost in thought, almost irritated sometimes. It was like a dark cloud suddenly washed over him. I couldn't understand why he reacted that way, so obviously I questioned him multiple times, asking what the matter was. But he always brushed it off, saying it was nothing, a simple, "I'm just tired," or "I've got a lot on my mind." But I knew it was BS. Something was going on, and I had to get to the bottom of it. I could sense it. Isaiah and his mom started hanging out less and less, and when they did, the tension in the air was definitely noticeable. Their once effortless and goofy conversations turned strained and awkward, and I wasn't having any of it. I mean, think about being closer to your mother-in-law than your actual husband. It was awkward as well. One day, I couldn't take it anymore. The frustration was eating me alive, and I needed to know why Isaiah was acting the way he was acting. So I demanded that he tell me the truth. Of course, as usual, he started denying everything, but I put my foot down and defeated him. He sighed and began telling me everything. Let me tell you, folks, I wasn't ready for the bombshell that came next. Well, I guess I couldn't hold on to this any longer. Isaiah, I'm worried about you. What the heck is going on? Well, you're going to think I'm crazy. I could never. Spit it out. Okay, so I think my mom is doing something shady in the police department. Something real bad, too. Like, if I'm right, which I think I am, she could go away for a very, very long time. What? No, that's insane. See? Okay, I'm sorry, but there's no way that your mom would do anything crazy like that. This isn't a movie, Isaiah. You haven't even heard me out yet. Okay, you're right. What made you think this? Okay, here goes. Ever since I was 16, I've suspected some shady shit was going on with her. I've seen my mom talking with known criminals and even people who were later involved in stuff like fraud. Sometimes after she'd pick me up from soccer practice, she'd take me along on certain shifts that she'd have. I'd see her talking to these men who looked really shady, Luna, like the type of people who could cut you if you looked at them the wrong way. What? Yeah. So what business does my perfect and understanding policewoman of a mother have to do with those types of people? He went on to describe an incident from when he was younger, when he confronted his mother about his suspicions. What did you say to her? Well, it wasn't a walk in the park, I kind of sheepishly brought up how I thought it was weird that we were seeing these people in such shady areas, and she started getting defensive, but I pushed harder, reminding her of everything that she had taught me about integrity and being an upstanding citizen and about doing what's right no matter what. But she almost chewed my head off, yelled at me, and told me I was crazy for ever accusing her of such a thing. But I know what I saw, Luna. I know it. Jesus Christ, Isaiah, that sounds awful. That's not even the worst part. She yelled at me, calling me all sorts of awful things. Honestly, I've never seen her that mad before. She almost looked like a demon. Yeah, imagining an angry Amelia is certainly terrifying. She wasn't just angry, babe. She was livid. She actually kicked me out. No. Yeah. It was crazy. We don't really talk about it much in our family. Kinda was a sore spot for a while, as you can imagine. So how did you get past it? I mean, you guys seemed to be fine when we got together. Yeah, no, things were fine between us for a while. Not too long after I got kicked out, I had to come crawling back. I felt so awful. But what about the stuff she was doing? I tried to let it go, not dwelling on it too much, you know. I even tried to justify it, saying that she had it hard as a single mom, but I never truly forgot about what I saw. Damn. So how does this all fit in now? Well, babe, someone at the office got the scoop on some foul play happening in the department. Oh? Yeah, someone got a tip and we're currently in the works of producing an article on it. Apparently someone heard about some missing funds from the police department. There's an active investigation into it, and I couldn't help but feel like my mom might be involved. I was in shock. I couldn't even speak. I just couldn't fathom Amelia being involved in any way. It just didn't make sense. This was the lady who would bake us a pie when we were sick. She wouldn't hurt a fly. So how on earth was she able to be involved with some shady stuff? I loved my husband, and when he talked about Amelia, I couldn't help but stand by his side. I began to distance myself from Amelia because I was conflicted about the whole situation. One day, we had a family barbecue at our house, and when Amelia arrived, I just couldn't hide the fact that something was bothering me. Sorry, you all, I got a D in drama class. I'm a terrible actor. It wasn't that I was being openly tense or standoffish, but it was pretty clear that my behavior had changed around her, I'll admit that. Every time I looked at my mother-in-law, I couldn't help but think back to Isaiah's troubling allegations. Amelia, ever the observer, guess that's why she's a notable police captain, noticed the shift in my attitude and decided to address it. She asked me what was going on, and I tried to brush it off, saying everything was fine. Hey, love. Long time no see. Oh, hi. Yeah, you're right. Why did you cancel on us on Thursday? I was looking forward to that pedicure. My dogs are barking. Oh, I was just really busy, Amelia. So sorry about that. Anyways, I think Isaiah needs me to refill the pitcher, so let me get to that. Is everything okay? Oh, everything's fine. Why would you assume things aren't okay? Everything's okay. Well, you kind of just blew me off and you've been acting strange, Luna. Me strange? Never. Right. You know, you can talk to me, right? Oh, I know. Thanks, Amelia. You're too kind, really. Anyway, I gotta go now. Please enjoy the party. Amelia wasn't buying my explanation for blowing off our plans, and her suspicion seemed to be growing because I'd catch her staring at me and I'd always look away embarrassed. I could tell she was on to me, and I was panicking about how I would handle the upcoming confrontation. At the end of the barbecue, as we were cleaning up and people were still chatting and lounging around, Amelia cornered me again, demanding to know why my behavior had been so strange lately. My heart was racing and I was stuttering all over the place when Isaiah noticed how uncomfortable I was. He marched right over and asked if everything was okay, immediately sensing that something was wrong. Amelia then shifted, being kind of passive-aggressive, to Isaiah. Hello, Isaiah. Mother. Cute little barbecue you've had here. Thanks for the invite, even though you haven't bothered to call me in months. Mom, not now. What the hell were you saying to Luna? Oh, grown quite the pair, have we? I was just talking to Luna and telling her how much I missed her. We haven't been seeing each other recently, and it's quite strange. Is it? Maybe you could tell me why that is, son. Please tell me why my daughter-in-law is looking at me like I was part of Columbine. Mom, enough. He told you his lies, didn't he? He told you that he thinks I'm a dirty cop. You're a terrible son. How could you do this to me? It was the first time I had ever seen Amelia so furious, and it was genuinely terrifying. She was like a whole different person, and it gave me chills, you all. Isaiah, trying to defuse the situation, suggested that maybe she'd had a bit too much to drink, and it was time for her to go home. Later that evening, when everyone had left, I received a text from Amelia that said, "You want to believe that lying bastard? Fine, go ahead." I knew that things had taken a turn for the worse, and the situation had become even more complicated. A couple of weeks had passed since the chaotic party, and it felt like the tensions between us had reached their peak. Isaiah was growing angrier at his mom by the day, convinced that there was something seriously wrong within the police department, and that she was definitely part of it. He updated me with all the scoop that his journalist co-workers were getting, and the tea was getting hotter by the minute. I felt like I was stuck in the middle, observing my husband and my mother-in-law at odds with each other. I wondered how we had ended up here, and I just wished that things could go back to normal. I tried reaching out to Amelia, but she would always reject my calls. I felt so lost during this time, it was crazy. I thought that our relationship was done for sure. Then, out of the blue, I received a call from Amelia. I hesitated, but decided to answer. She invited Isaiah and me to her place for dinner, mentioning that other family members would be present. She said she wanted to clear the air, tired of the ongoing fighting and drama that had consumed us all. When I told Isaiah about the dinner, he was skeptical at first. He was a bit of a wreck. I could tell that feeling this way about his mom was a tough pill to swallow. So I understood his hesitation, but I convinced him that going to his family dinner might be the best way to finally resolve the issues that had torn us all apart. After some convincing, he agreed. It was time to face our problems head on, and perhaps for the first time in a long while, work towards reconciliation. The day of the family dinner came, and when we got to Amelia's place, it seemed like any other old gathering we'd have. Clearly, Amelia had a better drama teacher than I did because her acting skills were on point. Surprisingly, she was her usual lively self, not showing any signs of the tension between her and Isaiah and me. Isaiah looked at me like, "What the frick?" And I looked back like, "Right," thinking that it was strange how she flipped the switch from being so cold to being so lively. As the night went on, Isaiah finally asked his mom when they could sit down and talk about their issues, but Amelia kept brushing him off, telling him to shut up and enjoy the party. More time passed and it became pretty clear that Amelia wasn't really interested in addressing the problem, just pretending everything was fine for some reason. Isaiah was getting frustrated, thinking the dinner was all for show. When Amelia excused herself from the table, Isaiah took the opportunity to tell me that he wanted to leave, saying that Amelia wasn't serious about fixing things. Agreeing with him, we started saying our goodbyes to Isaiah's family. I was also getting fed up with Amelia's antics. I thought it was really weird of her to invite us like that and not do what was promised. Just when we were getting ready to head out, we heard a loud scream from Amelia's bedroom. We rushed in along with some other family members and found Amelia crying. Isaiah asked her what was wrong, and through her sobs she managed to say, "It's gone." "What's gone?" "My grandparents' watch. It's gone." "That old thing? Why are you worried about that?" "That old thing had sentimental value, Isaiah. That pocket watch has been in our family before you and I were ever even thought about, so you better have some respect." "What were you doing with it anyway? Isn't it normally locked away?" "Yes, but I took it out tonight because, well, I wanted to give it to you, son." "Me? Why?" "Well, things have been off between us lately. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. I just wanted to do something nice." "Oh, Amelia, that's really sweet of you, but where could it have gone?" Amelia's tears quickly turned into accusations, and she started yelling at me, blaming me for the missing family heirloom. I was completely shocked, to say the least, and Isaiah didn't hold back, yelling back at his mother, telling her she had no right to accuse me. Amelia turned her attention back to me and demanded to know why I'd been moving around so much during the party. She accused me of stealing the expensive watch, which was beyond offensive. I'm not going to lie, that got to me. I started crying and I denied everything, which in retrospect definitely made me look guilty. But I can't help it, you all. I'm sensitive and I don't take accusations lightly. Amelia yelled even louder, saying that she could lock me up for a long time and make sure my life was a living hell. I begged her, and Isaiah tried to get the others to see that Amelia was clearly going crazy. Then she said that she would go through my purse so that she could clear my name, and I gladly told her to go ahead. As Amelia rummaged through my purse, she discovered the pocket watch, and the room fell into stunned silence. Look at this. I was right." "No, I swear, I don't know how that got in there." I was bewildered, unable to comprehend how the hell it had ended up in my bag. Amelia continued her rant, saying she was going to have me arrested for theft. I started crying, begging and pleading with her. Isaiah tried to intervene again and get his mom to stop, but she just wasn't listening. She said I was going to spend a long time in jail to think about what I had done, as I cried and screamed in disbelief at the false accusations. Amelia was so furious that she insisted on driving me to the police station herself, ready to have me arrested that very night. Isaiah obviously came with us, so we all traveled together to the police station in Amelia's car. By that point, I had stopped crying and was just stunned into silence. I literally couldn't believe what was happening. Isaiah tried to talk with Amelia, explaining that I would never do something like this. Hell, I didn't even know about a goddamn pocket watch. But Amelia wasn't having any of it. I was booked and detained that same night, you all, forced to share a dingy jail cell with someone who looked like they were on drugs. I was terrified, with Isaiah on the other side of the bars doing his best to comfort me. He assured me that he knew I was innocent and promised to do everything in his power to get me out of there ASAP. He said that his mother's antics had gone on long enough and that he believed Amelia had framed me. I started crying all over again, and I asked why Amelia would do this to me, why she would humiliate me like this. Isaiah's response was simple and chilling. He believed his mother was just pure evil, a complete narcissist, and that it was finally time to take her down for everything she had done. He suspected that Amelia had orchestrated my arrest to teach us a lesson about defying her, taking advantage of her authority to make it all happen. I guess she would look like a terrible mother if she arrested her own son, so she decided to arrest me instead. Well played, Amelia. We talked for as long as we could, considering it was pretty late at night and there wasn't much time. I felt so alone and so scared, and Isaiah looked like he was on the verge of tears himself, until he said, "I'll make her pay for this. Just wait." Isaiah had to say goodbye to me for the night, promising he'd be back in the morning. I was forced to spend the night in that cold and disgusting cell, you guys. Before Amelia left for the night, she looked over at me, smirking, as if she had won. It was then that I saw Amelia's true colors, and it sent shivers down my spine. I spent the night crying and trying to stay away from that intimidating girl in the cell with me. Honestly, I don't know how I made it to the next morning, but I did. Morning came, and I received a call from Isaiah. Isaiah explained that he had got everything, all the evidence he had been gathering from the past 3 months to use against his mother. He had spent the entire night trying to make it all coherent, because it was a pretty tough case to crack, but with some last-minute help from his journalist co-workers, they were planning to expose that police's corruption, and Amelia was at the center of it all. Isaiah told me to get ready because things were about to take a dramatic turn, and it wouldn't look good for Amelia. He also revealed that last night when he went back to Amelia's home to get his car and head back home, he managed to check the security camera footage. He said he wasn't surprised when he found his mother placing that stupid pocket watch inside my purse when no one was looking. He knew that this incriminating evidence would set off a chain reaction, exposing Amelia's deceitful actions throughout the years. I was excited to hear that I would be acquitted and that finally Amelia would face the consequences of her actions. I was incredibly grateful to have such a supportive and dedicated husband who stuck by my side through thick and thin. He threw his own mother under the bus for me. If that doesn't scream true love, then I don't know what does. Isaiah told me he was going to bring photographers and journalists with him to ensure the story spread quickly and that Amelia would sufficiently be embarrassed from all the press. He wanted everyone to know that Amelia and perhaps some people in her department were involved in corrupt activities. He mentioned that even if the evidence against her wasn't enough for now, it wouldn't look good for the local police station when the journalists and reporters accused them of corruption. It wasn't like these claims were baseless either, apparently. There were witnesses who had come forward during the 3 months of research that Isaiah was doing, willing to testify against the police and their shady crap. Isaiah even said he was ready to testify against his own mother in court if it came to that, as he couldn't stand the games she had been playing and he had to take action when he saw how deeply it had affected me. Not long after our phone call, Isaiah arrived at the police station with a whole team of reporters and journalists, just as he promised. He dropped a big-ass file on Amelia's desk and she started yelling, asking him what the hell was going on. I couldn't see much from my cell since I was still locked up, but Isaiah yelled back, telling her it was time for her to face the consequences of her actions. He revealed that he had been building a case against her for the past 3 months and that he knew that I was innocent and had the evidence to prove it. After a couple of minutes, I was released from my cell and I jumped up on Isaiah, thanking him for everything. And that was when the reporters came out of the wazoo and started pestering the police for answers regarding their claims of injustice. Amelia looked like a scared and lost puppy, looking desperate and exasperated when she saw all the cameras and reporters surrounding her and her team. The police tried to contain the situation, but there was a growing crowd of protesters outside the station demanding justice. My husband is amazing, you all. He managed to get all of these people on such short notice because he knew I was in danger. It seemed like the small town had suspected foul play within the police force for a long time, and they were finally getting a voice to help them. Amelia's face was plastered all over the local news, with people saying it was a disgrace for such a decorated police officer to be caught in the middle of all this. She's currently been stripped of her badge and is awaiting trial in a jail cell. Funny how the tables turn. And if more and more people speak up about her, she'll be facing a pretty lengthy prison sentence. I'm just glad to be out of that place. I couldn't imagine spending another night in that cell, let alone a whole week, which is the time that Amelia has spent in jail for now. Imagine that. Imagine being the one serving justice and dumping criminals in cells just for you to end up just like the people you put away. How tragic and pathetic. I hope she rots. I'll be sure to update you guys, but last I checked, Amelia was a wreck in the cell, yelling and cursing at everyone and demanding to be let out. But she's not going anywhere until her trial. Must suck to be her.